avoided the entire journey from the airport
Views
in
and
Makati.
opinions expressed by the speaker, host, commentator, or other third party in Ariva webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass are those of the speaker, host, commentator, or third party and do not necessarily reflect and represent the views and opinions of Ariva. Furthermore, Ariva does not warrant, express, or imply the merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose of any product information, service, or process presented by the speaker, host, commentator, or third party. And Ariva specifically disclaims any legal liability or responsibility for the accuracy, completeness, or usefulness of any product information, service, or process presented. Finally, material or information presentation, opinion, process, or service by on any trade name, trademark, manufacturer, or otherwise during Ariva webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass do not constitute or imply Ariva's endorsement or recommendation of such opinion, process, service, item, or organization.
Good afternoon, everyone, and we're live. Good afternoon to our participants, and welcome to another free e-learning session brought to you by Ariva Academy. My name is Irish Malonda Samson, and I will be your host and moderator for today. Welcome to our Relieving from Financial Stress and Promoting Money Matters Strategies free live webinar. So before I introduce our international speaker, please allow me first to acknowledge, of course, the following participants who are watching right now from out of town. So hello to our participants from Pampanga, Cavite, Baguio, Ilocos Sur, Batangas, Laguna, Cebu, Davao, Dumaguete, Iloilo, Masbate, Quezon Province, Rizal Province, Tacloban, and Zamboanga. And also, I would like to greet our participants here in Zoom. And of course, we are now live streaming in our YouTube channel. It's Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks. Hello there to our viewers. So let's start. Okay, are we all good? In order for us to have a smooth flow of our webinar, please adhere the following house rules. Please type in hi in the chat box if this is your first time attending or viewing an Ariva webinar. Please type hi. Please share with us where you watching right now so we can greet you as well. Okay? Come on, guys. Please type your highs and hellos in the chat box. Hi, Angela, Imelda. Where are you watching right now po? From Batangas. Okay. I hope you're all well and good and safe, of course. By the way, I would like to greet everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Ayan, advance yan. Okay, hi Robeline, Anna Patricia, Abigail. Good afternoon. Okay, let's move on. We will use, let's do an audio check. We will use the following codes. Type in 111 if you can hear me loud and clear. I am audible. You can hear me. Okay, 111. 222, you cannot hear me. No sound at all. 2121, breaking up or logging. And question mark if you don't understand anything. So far, 111, thank you. Good afternoon, Teresa Macabenta. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for being with us today. Okay, so moving on. We will be having a quick break later after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to our Q&A portion. For Q&A guidelines, of course, participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid unnecessary interruptions. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, please click the raise hand button for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Yes, you heard me right. We will entertain live questions from our Zoom participants later at the Q&A portion. Okay, moving on. And of course, please scan this QR code. This will be directed to our feedback form. Please send us your comments, suggestions, suggested topics to discuss in order for us to improve our future free e-learning sessions, webinars, and master classes. And now, I will be introducing our speaker, international speaker from Singapore, okay, to discuss relieving from financial stress and promoting money matters strategies. Our speaker is an international coach and wealth planner. Besides managing and optimizing his clients' wealth portfolios, he coaches and speaks on a wealth of personal and professional development topics, including financial management, business, and professional skills, as well as high performance mindset and practices. Using this two-pronged approach, Thomas has empowered many to achieve their goals while moving towards his personal goal of impacting 1 million lives. Be it speaking on stages to thousands, engaging in a seminar format trainings, or immersing into a one-on-one coaching. He strives to deliver highly transformational and high-touch services. Everyone is all now welcome our speaker from Singapore live, Mr. Thomas Chen.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Irish. Ain't she fabulous? What an energetic introduction. So before I begin, I would love to thank all of you for spending time today to be part of this program itself so that we can all learn about how we can manage financial stress as well as some money management strategies to bring our personal finance game to the next level. All right, so before I begin, just to do a little bit of check, if you can hear me and see me clearly, please key into the chat YES, yes, because I don't want any of you to miss out anything. Meanwhile, I will also switch to the slides. So if you can see me and hear me clearly, do give me a yes. All right, we'll share the slides now. Okay, give me a moment.
I have a lot of yeses, Sir Thomas.
That's amazing. And I really love the crowd today. Everyone is like ready to learn, ready to go. All right. Thank you everyone for your enthusiastic and energetic response. So as introduced by our host earlier, today I will be sharing about relieving from financial stress and promoting about money management strategies. Just a little bit about myself. Although the hosts have done an amazing job introducing me, I was thinking, hey, is that really me? But yes, so my name is Thomas. I'm an international coach, speaker, as well as a wealth planner. So I've been sharing on a variety of topics in the seminars, trainings, and even one-to-one coaching itself. And today I'm really grateful to have this opportunity to share with all of you because my big goal, my impact that I want to achieve eventually is to reach out to 1 million people and impact their life. So thank you so much for helping me to be one step closer towards this goal itself. All right, and any point in time, if any of you have any questions, do take them down because we are going to have a Q&A session later, and I would certainly love to address them and value add all of you as much as I can. Right, so to start off, I would love to ask this question to all of you, and that is, what is the meaning of money to you? What is the meaning of money to you? Is it a platform for you to achieve freedom? Is it a tool for you to get as many things as you want? Is it a thing that help you to support your family? What is money to you? I'm curious. So key into the chat so that we can address it later together. Right? Don't be shy. Just key into the chat so that we will know and we will know how to address it accordingly so that we can master the money game. What is the meaning of money to you? Right? Let me look at some of the responses.
Okay, we have Rossini Conwy. It's a tool to help us get what we need and maybe help others as well. Thank you.
All right, that's great. A tool to help people, right? Anyone else? Just feel free to share so that we know the different perspective each of us have on money, and it will indeed be a very beautiful thing because at the end of the day, money is everything from Mary, instrument from Comwell, right? Investment, right? So as all of you can see, different people have different meanings when it comes to money itself, right? Different people, different meanings. And it is essential for us to identify what money truly means to us. Because only when we identify it, that is how we can be attached to it strongly so that we are able to manage it well. So the first set program or the first exercise that I want to do with all of you is to help you find the meaning of money to all of you so that you can resonate with it strongly, right? So we will deep dive into it, and how you can do so is to perhaps, if you have a piece of paper, you can write it down. If you have a phone or something to write it down, write it down so that we can really deep dive into the meaning of money. All right, so let's do this exercise together. All right, so the first level usually is a surface reason. Oh, money can help me to buy what I want. And what you want to proceed on from here is ask why. Why do you want to buy what you want? What do you usually buy? In this situation, it helps me to support my family because I can buy food, I can buy additional support, I can buy amenities for my family member, and hence it develops that support. And you want to go one level deeper. Why? Why do you want to support them? Oh, perhaps it's for children's education, it's to help my parents to retire early, is to perhaps help to build stronger relationship. And then you want to keep asking yourself why, until you reach that emotional reason, which is in this case to express my love for my family member. Because money can help me to get all these different things, which eventually is a gesture of love itself. So that is the meaning of money for you. It is a platform or it's a tool to express love. And hence, you can develop that stronger connection. Different people will have different meaning, all right? I will just touch on this part quickly because I have a lot to share with all of you, but we only have 1 hour, so I will go through a little bit quickly, but you get the main idea that is you have to dig down, dive deep until you reach that emotional reason, because that is the true meaning of money to you, right? So for some people, it is to help them to live life to the fullest, because money can help them can protect them from financial disaster, right? They have the emergency funds, they have sufficient cushion. So in the situation where the economy is not performing well, at least they have the money to support them. And this means that money is a form of security to them. It helps them to live life to the fullest. Or personally for me, the meaning of money, why do I love money, is because it helps me to scale my business. And my business is focused on impact. Right? With more money, I'm able to expand my business internationally, outreach to more people, and impact more people from there. And when I impact more people, I feel that sense of fulfillment. I feel that sense of significance. Money is a tool for me to achieve significance. So I want all of you to identify what is the meaning of money for you. Right? This is the first step. You want to really know that definition itself so that you can develop that strong emotional connection. Okay? Clarity breeds certainty. Certainty breeds actionability. Now that you know the true meaning of money to you, you are super clear of the meaning of money to you, you will be more determined and driven to manage it well. And that's why this exercise is so important. This is the first step towards excellent money management, because you need to know the significance of money to you. By knowing the significance, by knowing that purpose, by knowing that inner why, you will be determined and driven to manage it better. All right? So I want all of you to identify the inner meaning of money to you so that you can have that clarity, that certainty, and the actionability. Right? So now I will move on to the next part of my presentation, that is the golden rules of money. Some of the rules that we need to take into account into so that we can be the master of money itself. You see, money is a simple concept, yet it is difficult to master. But by knowing the golden rules, you are able to master it well, all right? So the first rule is that money is an exchange of value. I repeat one more time. Money is an exchange of value. And hence, the more value you are able to provide, the more money you will be received. So what we all need to do is we need to explore what is valuable at this point in time. Because value changes based on time, based on situation, based on the place itself. Let me give you an example. For example, a bottled water, it may be quite a low price right now. But in a desert where there's a lack of water, the bottled water will be very high in price. And it is same in a personal and professional context. What are the in-demand skills right now? Digital marketing, copywriting, communication skills, presentation skills. You want to explore what are the highly valued skills right now, and you want to learn them so that you can put them in your arsenal and you become even more valuable. And it also brings me to this concept, because some people may ask, hey, if money is tagged to value, why is Tony Robbins earning so much more than a heart surgeon? So for those of you who do not know who Tony Robbins is, he's a global motivational speaker who impact the lives of many through his seminars, coaching, and programs itself. And if you were to do your research, Tony Robbins earns around 80 million US dollar per year. And if you to check a heart surgeon, he earns around 200 to 300,000 USD per year. So some of you may ask the question, why is there a difference right here? Because yes, Tony Robbins' program is life-changing, but the heart surgeon is life-saving. Definitely, the value is higher. But the thing here is scalability, the ability to scale, S-C-A-L-E. Because if you observe, although the heart surgeon has a higher value in terms of life saving, he's only able to save one life at a time. But for Tony Robbins, his program is life-changing, not life-saving, but life-changing still. But each of his seminar is able to accommodate more than 10,000 people. So one seminar, he gives value to 10,000 people. So when we talk about the concept of value, it's not just the depth of value, but it's also the width of the value itself. How many people can you add value to? So this is something for you to consider if you want to make more money, right? Increase your value and expand the outreach of your value itself. All right, rule number 2, that is money and emotions are independent, which means that money and emotions, they are more often than not, they are not attached together. Because many people have this misconception that the more money they have, the happier they will be. But it's actually not true. Because if you were to look at some of the examples, I live in Singapore, which is one of the, to be honest, highly stressed countries around the world, because we are very competitive, we focus a lot on our work, we are very career driven, and yes, we do have comfortable income, but our happiness index is not one of the highest around, because it comes with stress, it comes with a lot of competition, it comes with somewhat of a very high intensive work culture itself. But if you were to look on the other side of the spectrum, personally, I've went to do volunteering work before. And what I realized is that in these countries with poverty, with a lot of lack, the people there do experience happiness, although they don't have a lot of money, right? In fact, it is like negative value itself, but they still find happiness in it. And the answer lies in appreciation. Appreciate what we have. And I'm sharing this with all of you because sometimes in our pursuit of money, in our pursuit of wealth, we may not find what we want to truly achieve. which is why I wanted to have that discovery session at the start. Because at the end of the day, money, it may facilitate that emotions, but it is not equivalent, right? We must have that clarity on that. Okay, rule number 3 is money amplifies one's character. So there's this misconception as well that sometimes, when people have a lot of money, they become evil, they become bad, they overspend, which is also not true, because money is just a tool, which we mentioned earlier, that amplifies the character itself. Which means if you are good in nature, when you become rich, you will still be good in nature. But if a person is bad in nature, when they become rich, they will still be bad in nature. An example is people like Bill Gates and J.K. Rowling, right? They are so rich with all their wealth, but yet they do a lot of philanthropy work. They are very good in nature because that is who they are, right? And rule number 4, always spend less than you make. I'm curious, for all of you out there, how many of you save first before you spend? Come, let's be very honest. If yes, key to the chat, yes. Which means that every month when you receive your salary, do you put it in the bank or some financial instrument, or before that, you already start spending already? Come, let's keep this engaging. Anyone? Don't be shy, don't be shy. How many of you spend first or you save first? Not consistent, all right? Understandable. Save first, very good. Right. So as you can see, why many people endorse the concept of saving first is if because we don't save first, there may be a chance that we spend more than we make because we start spending and spending and spending. And this may seem to be very common sense to some people, but I will always like to emphasize that common sense doesn't mean common practice. And the fact is that these very successful celebrities like Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson and who's this guy? I forget. The dancer, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yes, Michael Jackson. They are celebrities who earn a lot of money, and yet they go bankrupt. Why is it so? It's because they do not have that excellent money management skills. They spend more than they make, right? So although it seems common sense, like to many people, this is something we have to be always aware of, which is why I always endorse that we have to save first before we spend, because that is how we can truly ensure that we are managing our money well and we will not spend more than we make. Okay, rule number 5, know the difference between good debt and bad debt. This is very important because people tend to associate debt with a negative connotation to it. But that is not true because there are good debt and there are bad debt. And what are some of the examples? All right. So good debt generally helps you to create more wealth and create more income. So for example, when we go further our studies, sometimes we may not have that amount of money with us. We take a debt, we take a loan first. And that will be an investment itself, because when we have that degree, when we have that university degree or that certification, we are able to earn even more money, which can help to clear off the debt. And property you are able to get in terms of rental income, or when the value appreciate, when you sell it, you get more money from it as well. Or in fact, business investment as well. So all of these are under good debt because the people take debt to earn even more money. But of course, you need to do proper research before you even go into debt, right? But how about bad debt? What is the guideline to classify one as bad debt? Well, bad debt happens when the person borrow, but it is not able to generate more income. For example, car itself, it's a depreciating asset. The moment the person buy the car, it keeps depreciating. Unless the person is a professional transporter. But if it's just buying the car for the sake of buying it, look good, look great, then it is a bad debt itself. And it is not discouraging anyone from buying these assets, but it's more of buy it without going into depth. If one have to go into depth just to get all these assets, then it is classified under bad debt. This is something for you, all of you to take note of, right? So you need to have a very clear indication of what is good debt and bad debt. Okay. Rule number 6, the final rule that I'm going to share with all of you, and it is very important, is that we will only have as much money as we can manage. I repeat one more time. We can only have as much money as we can manage. What do I mean by this? All right. So studies have shown that 70% of the lottery winner go bankrupt after a few years. Although they are able to win millions of dollars, they still go bankrupt. Why is it so? Because they are not able to manage their money well. And hence it brings me to the point, it's not about how much money we have, but how well we manage our money in order to have sustainable wealth itself. All of these lottery winners, they get sudden windfall. They become rich all of a sudden. And as they become rich, they did not enhance their money management skills. And as a result, they lose everything quickly. They do not know how to differentiate the right financial instrument. They lost their money to scams. They got cheated. They spend a lot, all this. And it is essential. And that's why it brings me to today's topic of how we can manage money, right? So it is certainly an important rule for us to look into in terms of elevating our wealth itself. All right, so now that I've shared with all of you the rules, it is time to go into how we can manage financial stress and our money. All right, so I would love to ask all of you this question, is that how many of you have ever experienced financial stress, meaning you headache over money, or you feel negative feelings about money, or you feel that it's too complicated, too complex, don't want to look at money? How many of you feel stressed when it comes to managing money itself? If yes, key into the chat. Y-E-S. Yes. All right. Glad that I'm in the right place. Great, great, great. No worries, no worries. Thanks for being open and thanks for sharing. Okay, because today it is all about removing this itself. How about we removing our stress itself, right? Great, great, great. All right, thanks for being so open. All right, so from what we observe is that financial stress is caused by two things: mindset and skill set. And lucky for all of you, this is what I'm going to touch today. Both the mindset and the skill set are also known as the strategies itself. Because when we work on this, we are able to remove financial stress and we are able to manage our money well. Okay? Okay, so the first thing I want all of you to do is to identify the limiting money beliefs which you may have. Right? Identify. So let me share with you some common ones. Right? So some people, they may feel that, oh, money is the root of all evil. I know of a lot of people, after they get rich, they become very arrogant, they spend a lot, they become very proud, and that's why I don't want to associate myself with money. There are people who think like that. All right, and there are people who feel that I'm simply not good at managing money. There's so many different terms. There are so many different terminologies that I have to look into. It's just too complicated, and that's why I don't want to manage money. Or there are people who say that, oh, I'm spending less money, and that makes me feel very squeezed, very taxing. I must choose the cheapest option. I must decide which food to eat, which things to buy. It is so taxing. It's so tiring. That's a limiting belief as well. And some people feel that I need to spend money, then I will be happy. Right? I think some of you may think that way. Or some of you may feel that saving money needs a lot of effort. It is very tiring. It needs a lot of attention. It needs a lot of effort. Or if there's even some people who mentioned that, which I have seen in the chat just now, not able to consistently control the saving and spending. All right, so I want all of you to take a moment to really think, what are some of the limiting beliefs you will have, right? And after that, we will address it. All right, these are all under mindset. We want to always start with the mind because mind influence our action, right? So think about it. What is stopping you right now from being great at managing your money? So perhaps some of you can write into the chat so that we can address it accordingly. Yeah, so these are some of the common ones which I work with my clients, and we have identified that these are some of their deep limiting belief. And the first step we take is to identify it so that we can transform their belief and mindset towards money itself. Right? Come, clean to the chat. What are some? I need to spend on something to reward myself and be happy. Yes, that is one of the limiting beliefs people may have when it comes to money management. Anyone else? Come, today is free coaching. So when you put it, I will address it accordingly, and I will show you how you can transform it into an empowering belief. So it will be something which is relevant and connected to you. All right, perhaps let's have one more. Let's have one more. Don't be shy, don't be shy. But I must say that this group of audience we have today is really very polite, really very nice. So thank you for the support, and thank you for the attention. Really, really appreciate it. All right, we have another one. It makes me happy when I spoil myself sometimes. Understand? All right, so these are some of the limiting beliefs we have when it comes to money management, right? So what we want to do now is we want to convert this limiting belief into empowering beliefs. Empowering beliefs that are complementary to this, right? So for example, money is the root of all evil. So how do we convert it? The main focus here is evil. So if you want to convert it into empowering belief, you change the term. It's a neutral tool. It is up to us to decide how we want to use it. So it's neither good nor bad, right? Or to those who feel that you are simply not good at managing money, well, the focus here is not good. So you want to convert not good into getting better. So how do you get better at it? Well, by looking at money as a skill, because skills are something which we can get better with. So by relating money to a skill, you are able to change your mindset, because you know that the more you work on it, the better you get at it, right? So this is how you convert your thinking to change limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs, all right? And to the belief that spending less money make me feel taxing and very tiring, I need to squeeze. Well, it can be a fun process as well if you are able to extract the fun from it. Imagine the joy of being able to find more value for money alternative, so that you can spend on more things compared to just one thing itself. It is up to you to find the joy out of it. Or you may even create a challenge. The less money that you spend, the more you reward yourself, right? So these are ways which you can convert your perspective, right? Let me show you some examples before I address all those which are in the chat. So for those, some of you are mentioning, I need to spend money to make me feel happy. Well, at the end of the day, it is up to you to define what happiness truly is. Because at the end of the day, we may not need to spend money to be happy. It can be just giving people some kind gesture. It can be someone giving us a positive remark. That will also make us feel happy, right? If you think about it. Or I have to put in a lot of effort and attention to save money. Well, with the right strategy, saving money can be easy and effortless. And I am going to share with all of you how later, right? Or I am not able to consistently control my saving and spending. Some people, they have that perception itself. But you can convert it that, hey, actually when it comes to saving and spending, you don't even need to control it. It can be second nature. Just like us bathing, cooking, making the bed. We don't have a lot of control on it, but it is just our second nature itself. Right? So let me address some of the beliefs we have earlier. So I look at the first one, which is Chloe. I need to spend on something to reward myself and be happy. So the focus here is reward myself. Well, Chloe, you don't need to spend money to reward yourself. It can be as something as going on the tree, like going out to the nature to explore, or hanging out with friends. All of these are ways you can reward yourself without spending a lot of money. Correct? If you think about it. spoil myself sometimes. Yes, you can spoil yourself sometimes, right? So what I would like to emphasize is not that we have to squeeze ourselves so tightly. Sometimes we can let go a little bit, but it is about not regularly spending on a huge basis itself. So like you mentioned, actually that is an empowering belief itself, because you just spoil yourself sometimes. You don't need to spoil yourself every time to make yourself happy, if you think about it. I need to support my family to give them a better life. Indeed, this is an empowering belief. This is not a limiting belief, because with more money, you are able to support your family member, and hence that should encourage you to be better at money management, right? Spending to earn more. All right, so this brings back to the concept of investment itself. So this, I would say, it's an empowering belief, because at the end of the day, you are earning more. There are needs to be answered. Well, this is also empowering, because you are focusing on needs rather than wants. Right? So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, with a twist of the perspective and the thinking, you are able to transform any limiting beliefs you have into empowering beliefs. And it's always important to start with the mind first, because if we feel that we are not able to do it, even with the best strategy, we have already lost the battle. It's about starting with that self-belief itself. Right, so I'm grateful that so many of you are already deep down empowered individuals. And perhaps that's why you are here with us today, because you want to be even better. These are signs that you are motivated, empowered individual. You're spending an afternoon upgrading yourself to become better. So really thankful to have this crowd with us today. All right. So how to make empowering belief a deep part of you? What do I mean by that? Well, I just shared about the empowering beliefs that we can have so that we are better at money management. But how do you want them to be a deep part of you? How do you want them to be an identity such that it represents you? Because just as a belief itself, at this point in time, is just surface. But you want to deep dive into identity. Okay? So the strategy here is to change who you are, you have to change what you do. And to change what you do, you have to change your environment. I repeat one more time. To change your identity, which means to change who you are, you have to change what you do. And to effectively change what you are doing, you have to change your environment. So what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. All right, so for example, if you want to change your identity into someone who is managing money, just like any other skill, so you can get better at it, you have to start doing it, right? What you do, doing it. So what should you do to look at it as a skill? And that is to practice the skill of money management. Only then can you consider money management as a skill, when you do it like a skill, right? The more you practice, the better you get. But how do you practice money management skill? By changing your environment, right? So how do you change your environment? What does your environment include? It includes external factors and influence that you are constantly exposed to. For example, social circles, the friends you hang out with. When they are financially savvy, chances are you will be influenced to be more financially savvy. Just as the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Your mobile apps, instead of just downloading social media apps, you can download financial articles, right? Or budgeting apps for you to elevate your financial knowledge. And of course, going for money management books and courses as well. At the end of the day, we are our product of the environment itself. So we really need to explore how we can design an environment to create the identity we have. Right? Are all of you clear with what I say so far? If it's clear, key into the chat. YES. Yes. So I know that all of you are following closely. Thank you, Rosini. Thank you, Gary. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So I hope this part is clear for all of you, and this is very powerful because you really need to design an environment that is productive for you to elevate your money management. Imagine if everyone around you are spending money frivolously, you will be influenced to do so as well. But if you create your environment such that people are financially savvy, they make wise financial choices, they are into the topic of finance, you will become better from there as well. Right? So based on the belief, the empowering belief and the identity you want to adopt, create your environment accordingly. All right, so now that I've touched on the mindset, let's go into the skill set itself, namely the strategies. All right, and today I'm going to share with all of you 5 powerful strategies, easy yet effective. Right? So, strategy number 1, adopt a zero-based budgeting system. All right, so I have this question for all of you. How many of you plan your budget every month? If yes, key in yes. If no, key in no. Let's be very open. How many of you plan? Very good, Chloe. Very good. Wow. Bunch of financially savvy audience right here. Very, very, very good. All right. So I plan weekly. Even better. All right. Amazing, amazing. Very, very, very good. All right, so it's amazing that all of you plan your budget. But to take it a step further, what we want to practice is a zero-based budgeting system. So what do I mean by a zero-based budgeting system? And that means when we do out our budget, our cash inflow minus our cash outflow will be 0. Why do we want to do so? Because we want to be aware where every single dollar goes. We need that awareness, because if we don't have that awareness, sometimes we may realize that our money goes missing. This is not what we want to experience at the end of the day. We want to know where every single dollar goes. So this budgeting system is based on a typical Singaporean's cash outflow. It may be different for your country, but at the end of the day, what we still need to practice is that we want everything to become 0. Inflow minus outflow, 0, right? And under this, it will be the budgeted. So at the start of the month, or even some of you who are practicing weekly, you want to plan out your budget accordingly. And different month will be different. Why is it so? Because sometimes there will be celebrations, sometimes there will be more events, sometimes there will be more spending. So you need to do this regularly. But what is even more important is that after the month itself, you need to keep track whether are you on track with your budget or not, which is what many people fear to do. And I hope that all of you have been doing this. That is, you have to take note of your actual spending itself. All right, and this do not need to be a very tedious process, because nowadays there are a lot of financial apps or even the iBanking automation system which will help you to keep track of your spending already. The key thing is the awareness itself, because after everything is done, at the end of the month, what you want to do is to compare the actual spending with the budgeted one. Are there more or are there less? If there are more spending than the budgeted one, you want to really assess, why is it so? Is it because I did not allocate enough budget to it? Or is it simply because that month there's more spending? You need that awareness so you know where to cut down, where to address, and where to solve accordingly. I know this may seem as a tedious process, but trust me, it's going to be a game changer for you, because you have that crystal clear clarity of where your money goes, right? Okay, strategy number 2, which I have touched on a little earlier, save first. But I would also like to introduce another concept, that is save exponentially, right? Save first and save exponentially. Why is this important, and what do I mean by that? All right, so when it comes to saving, a lot of people have this idea, oh, every month I save 10% or I save 20%, fixed the rest of the life. But the thing here is, as our salary increases, if we were to have a fixed percentage of saving, while our saving will increase, our spending also increase. Think about it. Let's say if I were to save 10% and spend 90% at the current point, and my salary increase, I still save 10%. Yes, my effective amount of savings still increase, but my effective amount of spending also increase, which is why people suffer from this syndrome called lifestyle inflation. Right? Take note of this, lifestyle inflation, which also means that the more they earn, the more they spend. But that is not something we want, because we just want to spend the amount we need, not the amount we want. So a lot of people, they have this tendency when they earn more money, they spend more and more and more. But that is not strategic, because at the end of the day, what we want is just spending the right amount. So I have give an example right here, that is, if you earn $50,000 and you save 10%, when your salary increase to $60,000, you want to increase your saving to 25%. And by increasing your saving to 25%, it means that your spending will remain constant. Although your salary increases, your spending still remain constant. And when your salary increases to 80,000, you increase the percentage of your saving accordingly. So by doing so, with this strategy, you are able to ensure that you control your spending, which is very important. You want to control your spending to ensure that you only spend on what you need. All right? Okay, now, strategy number 3. Set up an emergency fund. How many of you practice this? How many of you have an emergency fund in your bank or some liquid financial instrument? If yes, key into the chat. YES. Yes. Very, very good. Right. So this is one of the strategies we can do to ensure that we will not have financial stress at all. Because in a recent study, through this COVID period itself, especially, what was realized is a lot of people do not have sufficient emergency fund. Not even on a personal level, but in a corporation level as well, which is why so many companies are closing down, because they don't have that sufficient emergency fund to tide them through this challenging period itself, right? So it is always essential that we have this sum of money in an instrument that is liquid. It is important for us to put it in a liquid instrument, because if it is not liquid, we are not able to take it out. And it is not to be placed in volatile investment. That is something for you all to take note as well. Because volatile investment, it goes up and down, and when the market is performing poorly, you are not able to liquidate it for emergency itself. So this is something when you all have to consider when it comes to setting up an emergency fund. So what you have to do is to look into how much you need. The recommendation is 3 to 6 months of your expenses itself. But of course, it depends on individual scenario as well, because some of us, we have huge family, then we need to have more emergency fund. Or some of us, we have a very high amount of debt or loan, then we need to have more emergency fund as well. Because if we do not have sufficient emergency fund during this challenging period itself, we are not able to tide through. So always have that sum of emergency fund, put it in a liquid instrument, put it in a bank, so in times of emergency, you can liquidate it quickly. And do take note, this sum of money is not for spending. I know of some clients, they see the sum of money there, wow, very attractive, can use to go overseas traveling. No, this sum of money is put there, don't touch. Only for emergency. Right? Okay. Strategy number 4, smart shopping system. All right, so I've talked a lot about saving, accumulation, all of this, but how about coming to spending itself? Because at the end of the day, we still spend, right? We need to spend on necessities, we need to spend on food, we need to spend on transportation itself. But the idea here is, how can we do it in a smart and strategic way? So to do it, what you need to practice, firstly, which a lot of people don't, but today I'm talking to a crowd which is empowered, so I believe many of you do this. And that is, firstly, have a checklist of what you want to purchase. or some people call it the shopping list itself. I know it may sound tedious, it may sound like extra work, but doing this extra work can help you to game change your finance itself. And why is this important? Because when you pen it down, it develops clarity. And if you recall what I mentioned earlier, clarity breeds certainty and certainty breeds actionability. So you would know whether these items, is it a want or a need, or is it just something that it's a passing temptation, right? And when you write down everything, you can strategize where you get it from. Are there any value for money alternatives? Are there any places which can ensure that you are able to get this at a lower price? Or are you able to do bulk purchase so that you can get discount itself? And let me share all of you one bonus trick. You know, sometimes when we have this temptation to buy items, buy things, wow, that thing is on discount. It seems like I need it, but I don't really think that I need it. The trick here is give yourself a 1 week waiting period. Because sometimes when the emotions are high, sometimes the temptations are high, we feel that it is something we truly want. But after 1 week, we will be clear-headed enough to feel that, hey, is this truly something I need or not? And that's how you can better manage your spending itself. Which is why when it comes to money management, it is really all in the mind itself. And when we get that mindset right, that is how we are able to achieve our financial goals. All right. Strategy number 5, which is the most powerful strategy in my opinion itself. Because when all else fail, there's always technology to help us. And technology is something with no emotions. Technology is something who do not need discipline. Technology is something which can help you to automate everything. And this strategy is popularized. Okay, I think someone very excited just now. But yes, this is a very exciting strategy and it is automation. So this method is first popularized by this financial author called David Bach. He wrote a book about the automatic millionaire. How you can use automation to become a millionaire. And it is possible because what you want to do is you want to have automatic transfer of your funds or your money to different accounts itself. So for example, when we have debt, we have loans, or we have bill payment, instead of manually servicing them every month, what you want to do is to automate it. Why is it so? Because if you manually service your debt or loan, sometimes we may forget about it because we are too busy with our work. And when we forget about it, it will incur interest, especially when it comes to credit card. In Singapore, the credit card interest rate is 25%, which means if I spend $1,000 on using my credit card, and if I have a late payment, I have to pay $250. Totally not worth it at all. So the first thing you want to automate is debt and loan payment, right? So once you do that automation, you do not need to worry about it. And the next is long-term obligations, right? So what are long-term obligations? One example is children's education. If you are planning for your children's education in the long run, there's something you have to start planning is to automate it. So how can you automate it? Either by setting up a private bank account or putting it into a saving plans or putting it into an endowment plan, which automate the saving process. The mistake people have when it comes to saving is, oh, when I have enough money, then I save. When I don't have enough money, then I don't save. But if we go in with that mindset, it is very interruptive because sometimes, our finance may not be very good, but we still need to save for it. Regardless of how the economic situation is, our children still need to have the education itself. So that's why I would recommend all of you to do automation in terms of this area as well, because automation helps us to tide through any emotional low, any economic situations, or any bad situations itself. And how you can automate it, either through a saving account or through a saving plan or investment itself. But of course, you must make sure that it is a safe form of investment. And it's same for retirement, same for your dreams as well. And of course, some of you want to do charity, you can also automate charity itself, right? Automate the given amount of money every month to some charity organization. And at the end of the day, it's important for you to assess this whole process itself, because you don't want to split up into too many accounts as well. If you split up to too many accounts, it will be diluted. You are not able to keep track of it, and the compound interest will not be able to compound as much, right? So what do I mean by that? Think about it. 100%, $100, save $100 every month in 2 different accounts, compared to save $200 in 1 account every month. Which one will have more? So if you were to do the math, saving $200 in 1 account will have more, because of the concept of compounding interest, which determines not only by time, by amount also. But that said, yes, we still have to divide it accordingly, but you don't want to overly dilute it. So what I will recommend is a maximum of 3 to 5 accounts. So by doing so, not only can you facilitate the automation process effectively, but you can also ensure that you can reach your financial goals and you do not over dilute the compound interest, right? So